User. Shout outs to the intro. Welcome to Rich Talks, podcast where we do music commentary, cultural commentary, deep dives, and just interesting topics in general. I'm your host, Ankh, aka Ree, and let's get into it. Well. Looks like the diddler survived the Arkham Asylum, eh? Man, we really got a lot to discuss about this guy. I mean, I kind of have, really, but I do have some additional thoughts, you know? This is like episode number 4 or 5 on the diddler, isn't it? Holy crap. I feel obsessed a little bit, you know? So to start everything off with like a quick little overview, because there was like a lot going on and like many media outlets were kind of like giving their trial updates as well as their own opinions on things. So it's possible that some of the actual facts could have been lost in translation. So initially, Diddy was accused of several charges, the most serious allegations being 1 count of racketeering, conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking, 1 count for allegedly trafficking Cassie, and 1 count for allegedly trafficking an unnamed Jane Doe, and 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. Again, 1 count for Cassie and the other for the unnamed Jane Doe. And for those of you that don't really know, it's really mostly assumed and pretty much agreed upon by now by the internets that the Jane Doe in question is in fact Daphne Joy, the mother of 50 Cent's second child. Yeah. But of course, that is besides the point. Here are some of the most controversial and I'd say like kind of explosive revelations from that high-profile Diddy trial, right? So to start off with, let's start with Cassie's testimony, right? So Cassie detailed decade-long physical, emotional, sexual abuse, including episodes where Diddy allegedly dragged her, stomped, kicked, and assaulted her. Some of this was evidenced by a 2016 surveillance video showing him violently beating her in the hotel hallway, and he probably would have gone further if the hotel security didn't just like jump out of the elevator and see what was going on and held that man up against the wall. And, you know, like, shout out to that security guard, man. Like, seriously, because that could have gone that could have been way worse. She also recounted being forced into drug-fueled marathon group sex events known as freak-offs. Freaky boy. Which often included male escorts, heavy use of baby oil, and degrading acts such as being urinated on by Combs and others. Was R. Kelly involved in these things? Like, what do you mean getting peed on? This is dirty. All right, so the freak-offs, you know what? I'm gonna hold off for now, because, like, yeah, we'll get to that. But continuing on, Cassie recounted that one particular alleged assault in 2018 in her home after a quote-unquote closure talk. She claimed that Combs raped her. Yep, the big R word, describing it as sudden and traumatic, right? And yo, I don't want to sound like that guy, but if you constantly dealt with this man being abusive, and you were essentially already out the door, like, please tell me why exactly you needed a closure talk. You know what I mean? Like, why allow that man into your home at all? And that closure shit, honestly, like, sometimes that closure shit is a myth, especially when it comes to like toxic ass relationships. I just wanted to speak to them one more time for closure, you know, aka I wanted to smash one last time, or I wanted to get my lick back, or at least, like, that's what I got from it. Like, you know, like, look at what the end result was. Like, he ended up assaulting you, and you would think sometimes reading these people's stories, you're kind of like, yo, are you purposely like putting yourself in these dangerous situations? Because on paper it just looks so retarded. Like, even Diddy's defense team had to kind of bring that up. Like, I'm not knocking the strategy, because lawyers got to do what they got to do, but like, there is a valid point what was being said where they kind of showed evidence that Cassie kind of voluntarily met up with the man after the alleged 2018 incident occurred, and she didn't once bring up the assault in question during that time, you know? And to me, that's just that's reasonable doubt. Like, it's maybe there was some complicitness, I don't know. But let's see, like, what closure really, what is closure really? Like, because when it comes to closure, or quote unquote closure, like, when you're looking at it from the perspective of you're trying to get that closure, it's, to me, I don't know. I think it can be said that when you're looking outwardly to get closure from, like, the end of a said relationship, and I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit of a selfish thing. Like, you're looking to get that last word, or that last knot, or basically just to show the person that you're leaving that you have, like, that little one up on them, you know, because you're the one coming to get that closure, you know. But like, what I mean is, or maybe, like, maybe they just kind of wanted to spin the block one more time, because sometimes we're all humans, right? Like, sometimes we just wanted to spin the block one more time, you know, before you finally, like, separate for good, right? Because, you know, that's just what it is sometimes. Like, y'all just want to spin the block one more time, and y'all want to call it, oh, I was just getting closure, when you know y'all were literally in a whole toxic ass situation and should have got the fuck out of Dodge to begin with. Like, you know what I'm saying, right? Because, like, it's, I don't know, man, I just think it's I think it's interesting, to say the least, that yeah, I just found it a little interesting. I'm just gonna leave it at that, because anyways, messages shown in court included painful admissions from Ventura, such as responding, "You treat me and make me feel like I don't matter," and referencing said abuse, like, she would also texted, "You drag me down the hall by my hair," which sounds crazy. Yo, how you gonna do that to anybody? You know how sensitive person's hair follicles are, to be like pulling somebody by the hair follicles? You know how sensitive that shit, like, anything relating to the head, there's a lot of, like, sensitive stuff here, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to damage this. You don't want to damage your head at all, especially pulling someone's hair, bro. What if the follicle, like, what if you just pulled the hairs straight out the follicles? Like, what would you have done then? Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. But I mean, like, what did you expect? Of course, he was gonna be like that. Like, this whole relationship was abusive. Like, it's just going to, it's crazy. Like, it's just like that. It's nonsense. And, like, honestly, like, I feel like her victim impact statement is just, like, kind of referencing, like, oh, you made me feel like this, you made me feel like that. Honestly, you put yourself in this situation too, man. Like, honestly, the whole Diddy trial, I'm not trying to downplay it, but the whole thing really just sounded like a domestic situation, you know, that just got blown up way out of proportion because of the level of celebrity, I guess, that's afforded to someone like Diddy. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I condone any of it, because obviously we as men should never ever have to lower ourselves to a degree where we have to put hands on somebody that is physically not our equal. Like, to basically just to exert our authority, or like to exert our force. It's very childish to do it like that, man. Like, you know, like when a young boy can't kind of articulate his feelings properly, or like the way he wants to, like, he can't articulate the what he wants to say or express himself properly, so he'll kind of resort to physical violence to get his point across, or to make the statement. You know, it's like the same thing can be said when you're an adult in a relationship and you just happen to be so, I don't know, because, like, again, I'm not making concessions for Diddy, but man, like, you can't do that. You just can't, man. Like he's always been a problem like that, right? He's always had this aggressive streak, if you will. And I'm just saying, like, I think that a lot of the case, like a lot of what Cassie's testimony showed, was like these two they were kind of, minus the domestic part, I feel like they were kind of in it together. You know what I mean? Like, when we're talking about like the freak-offs, they were like, for real. There was instances where we had Cassie. You know what? Let me get to that later, because, like, yeah, it kind of sounds like I'm kind of trying to defend Diddy, and that's not what I was trying to get across here. Because, again, like, you just can't abuse people, man. Especially a person that you claim is a person that you love, right? So, all right, I'm starting to ramble again. Let's move on to number 2, the freak-offs. Right? The freak-offs. Prosecutors described, orchestrated, drug-fueled sex parties, aka freak-offs, like or wild king nights or hotel nights. Apparently they had like multiple names for them, but freak-offs is the best one, obviously. And they would always involve male escorts and drug use, and allegedly they were always organized by Diddy, and sometimes they were filmed or recorded, potentially as a way for Diddy to use as potential blackmail to maybe exert, or maybe just exert further control over some people. You know what I mean? And witnesses did testify about massive quantities of baby oil, Plan B pills, and an IV drip in hotel rooms to sustain the participants, because the freak-offs in question usually lasted for several days, including one ex-staffer confirmed via voicemails that he ordered 20 bottles of baby oil for Diddy during an event in November 2021. This is just dirt, bro. Like, bruh, 20 bottles of baby oil? Yo, what are you guys doing in those rooms, man? Like, nah. Anyways, now this is where things get a little interesting, because it literally came out that we all know that Diddy is just a freaky dude, right? So when they revealed like all the inner workings of the freak-offs, and it's like, my God, that was, it's wild is I don't even think wild is the term. It's just freaky, man. Like, yo, did he freak you out, bro? He freaked me out, man. Because that is just, what are you doing behind these closed doors, man? Anyways, according to Daphne, sorry, I mean Jane Doe, sorry, I should not do that. Allegedly, Daphne, allegedly. Diddy would apparently also schedule these freak-offs after physical altercations. So, to me, it sounded like that they would kind of get into some kind of argument in the relationship, so to kind of make his girl feel better, he basically, instead of like maybe buying her a bag or something, like, right, he's rich enough, right, he can just take her shopping or something. No, instead he wants to take dudes shopping instead. He basically set up a freak off, which, if true, I'm sorry, but it sounds like some of these people were into it, man. Like, from, like, I'm telling you, if you follow some of these the trial, it was just some wild shit. Like did he really freak you out? Like, did he freak you out? I'm telling you, most likely he did. But it also seems like y'all might have enjoyed it to some degree, you know? Like, all those different avenues of dopamine just being readily available, like the drugs, the sex, the being freaky. Like, some of y'all were just freaks and Diddy gave you the venues to do it. Like, some of y'all were just secret freaks, man. Some of y'all were just freaks and Diddy just set you up for it, you know? He just laid the red carpet for y'all.
What?
That's what I think. Like, I almost guarantee if he didn't record the freak-offs as a means of potential blackmail for people, they'd probably be way more people involved in those freak-offs, right? Because obviously people talk. Like, it starts off at a Diddy party, and then you start talking about freak-offs, and then all of a sudden some of these people get invited to the freak-offs. Yeah. But once the lights came on, all the, like, you know, this is what it felt like. It felt like all the inner workings of the freak-offs and like doing the blackmail and everything. It's like all these people were involved secretly, and then the lights came on and it felt like all the roaches just scattered to the darkest depths, and leaving Diddy to his own devices. Like, Diddy's the roach that lost his legs and couldn't like escape to the couldn't escape to the wall or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, nah, just leave him high and dry. Like, that's the freak. We ain't freaky. That guy is just him, right? Like, figuratively and literally, I mean. Like, but let's keep moving on, because I'm getting real rambly in this. The third point, the Diddy's violence and alleged bribes. That the third thing that I wanted to bring up in this trial, which is very important to me, actually. I think this is pretty much the crux of the majority of the reason for attempting to convict, if you will, because, like, as was mentioned earlier, right, a former security guard, his name is Israel Flores, shout outs to him, testified that Combs offered him $100K to bury the video of the assault on Cassie. An alleged bribe, right? And multiple witnesses, including a makeup artist and a male escort, oh my gosh, saw Combs physically assault Cassie. A stylist also testified to hiding from Diddy for fear of being attacked herself. Like, yo, this thing is just, you see, like, the violence streak is crazy. Like, honestly, at this point, I think it's safe to say that Diddy is a pretty violent guy, right? Like, there's just so much history that can kind of corroborate a lot of these things, right? Before we even get to the court case, right? Like, we're talking about a guy who was known to abuse his now deceased baby mother, Kim Porter, R.I.P. to her, and there's rumors that he played a role in her developing pneumonia and passing away. I'm not gonna say that is factual, but rumors continue to spread every time Kim Porter's brought up. Diddy's name is thrown in there too, because her death just seems suspicious, like the timing of it all. Like, there was a long-standing industry rumor as well that this guy went and basically beat up Andre Harrell in his office. There was allegations that he was involved in the death of Tupac and subsequently the death of Biggie by just doing bad business, because the violence that he created in terms of ending Tupac, it just kind of went back around and came and got Biggie out the way too, because he fucked up. He didn't see he didn't have the vision, maybe. Probably the wrong word for it, but I'm just like off the top right now, right? But even then, like, all of that kind of stemmed from him having issues with Suge Knight, right? Little ass Puffy trying to play gangster to a big man like Suge. It's wild, man. It's just really wild, right? But also the way he uses people. Like, I feel like he just kind of throws money at the problem when things aren't going his way, right? Things can't be done, like, for example, like, when things can't be done the way he wants it, he'll throw money at it. And like, he'll even resort to criminality if necessary. Well, he doesn't resort to criminality. The people around him do, because he pays them, right? Cause, like, let's use an example. Who was it? Shine. What about Shine? Like, the man had to go to jail for 10 years because of that night. Diddy got into an altercation with some people at the freaking club, and Shine was just being the good little loyal soldier, right? Cause that's what it felt like, right? Cause in that moment, even though he shot his gun in the air, he ended up taking the full brunt of the jail time. Like, Diddy threw him under the bus, man. Like, he really got thrown under the bus. And then when he got out of prison, he immediately got deported back to Belize. Like, no more career for Shine Poe, man. And he was dope. He was dope, man. And then there was the time where he slapped Drake. What? Tried to fight J. Cole for defending him. Like, he allegedly blew up Kid Cudi's car. What? He beat up his son's high school football coach with a dumbbell. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, this guy has a violent streak. Like, there's just no way around that. So, like, nobody can even deny any of the accusations when it comes to the physical violence part of the things that Diddy does. And that's even before we even see the literal video evidence of this guy going in on Cassie in that hotel hallway. You know what I mean? Like, just, there's a litany of just violent behavior spanning over 20 years. Like, it's crazy. All right, moving on, like, to a little bit of the testimony from Daphne. I mean, Jane Doe. Under the pseudonym Jane, another ex-girlfriend testified that she was coerced into, yo, this is wild. She said coerced into hundreds of sexual performances with male escorts from 2021 to 2024. Yo, you were straight up being a prostitute, man. Like, that's straight up prostitution behavior. And it's funny because the way she worded it, she said that the escorts were males. But how come the common denominator was you with all of these escorts, and this is spread over 3 years, hundreds of encounters over. All right, what am I doing, man? What am I doing, man? Like, yo, leave her alone, man. She's a Jane Doe. What am I doing? No. Anyways. I mean, okay, because she said that she was coerced into doing all of these things for those 3 years to satisfy Diddy, even while terrified and drug numbed. So maybe at some point she just numbed herself, so she didn't even really feel it anymore. It was just like, I mean, she was getting paid though. Like, she was getting paid. She was getting paid for these acts. You're nasty. Yeah. Anyway, she described feeling obligated to comply due to financial dependence.
You nasty.
Diddy had paid rent for her apartment, and fear of being abandoned or being made destitute is kind of what kept her going there. But like, you could. Here's the thing though. You were his girlfriend at the time, right? Doesn't that mean that you had like some kind of pull over like the things that would satisfy him, or the things that you could do for him? Like maybe he could have offered you a position at Bad Boy, like something more,
What?
just not as debased as that, something that doesn't like kind of thread the line between prostitution and just like, you know, because holy crap, man, that's just dirty, bro. Like Diddy likes to share his girl. That's what it looked like to me, man. Yeah, because again, I'm really starting to sound like that guy, man. Like I'm really starting to sound like that. I don't want to sound like that guy, but I'm just giving y'all my opinion. Like this is just from my observations of watching the trial, and like this is just what I think of the case, because it really just sounded like she was classic hobosexual shit. But like for the female variety, because usually when you talk about hobosexuals, talking about dudes that are sleeping with women for a place to stay or like whatever, right? It's like women never get called homosexuals, but like everything that she broke down there, it sounds like some homosexual shit. Like you wasn't the apartment in your name? Like was the apartment in his name? Like, I don't know. It's just let's just move on. Let's just move on. Oh man. All right. The next thing I wanted to this one's an important one. The criminal enterprise allegations. So, prosecutors argued that Diddy led a decade-long criminal enterprise, right? They hit him with the RICO, basically saying that involving sex trafficking, kidnapping, bribery, witness tampering, and even arson. I'm saying like all of those things that they mention individually, I think could have been possible, but stating that as part of a RICO was probably where everything just went crumbling down, right? Like, for instance, there was the alleged orchestrating the firebombing of Kid Cudi's car after his relationship with Cassie became public, right? But how was that in benefit of the criminal organization, and which criminal organization is Diddy the leader of, for them to be putting the RICO on him, right? See, like, to me, the prosecution really goofed up by hitting them with that. Like, why would you push so hard to prove a RICO when it was just like, again, when you're looking at the whole case, it just sounded like this super rich guy who loves to be freaky. Like, listen, from what I've always understood about RICO is that the acts are done in furtherance of the criminal organizations itself, right? Now, you can even go back as far as the rumors in the 90s, right? Tupac's death and whatnot. But technically, Diddy has never really been tied to any crime syndicates, right? No crime syndicates, no criminal organizations, or anything of the sort. He's just very rich. Like, you know what I mean? Like, which means he can pay for the protection and also pay to have people touched. I'm not saying that he did, but I mean, a whole history of violence and the history of rumors of, I'm just saying. But that doesn't mean that any of what he has done or any of his past history of violence was at any point in furtherance of a criminal organization, right? If anything, you can argue that R. Kelly was more closely tied to a criminal organization than Diddy was. Simply in the fact that R. Kelly could not have gotten away with the things that he got away with for how long he got away with them without a structured organization of individuals working in tandem to cover up, bribe, and facilitate the horrible acts that he did. Am I wrong? Like, I know it sounds wild, but of all the charges that they threw at Diddy during the trial, like, RICO was probably the weakest of them all to me. Because even with RICO, like, normally there's multiple individuals that are arrested, and maybe they get some people to flip on the other people, and that's usually the smoking gun, right? But like, nobody else was arrested. It was Diddy himself, and Diddy's the only one on trial. So where did the RICO come from? I'm like, yo, sometimes you gotta think, like, what are you guys doing, man? Because they say the feds have like a 98% conviction rate, but like, what are y'all doing? Why would you? Alright, whatever, man. Alright, and the last thing I wanted to mention regarding the Diddy trial is the convictions, or the mixed verdict, basically. So the jury convicted Diddy on 2 counts of transporting women for prostitution, but acquitted him on the broader charge of sex trafficking and running a criminal enterprise. Alright. So here's where I do have a little bit of a problem. Like, there's a weird little double standard here. Firstly, the fact that he was convicted for transporting women for prostitution. I'm not saying that the conviction is not warranted, but I have questions. Like, what about all the actual male escorts that he was hiring to fly over to smash his girlfriends? Like, where's the justice for what was that escort's name? The Punisher and his bionic.
What?
Hey, yo, yo, nah. But all jokes aside, though, I think the RICO charges were dropped. I think the fact that the RICO charges were dropped is a good thing, because that was just pure utter nonsense. I kind of feel like the reason they added such a heavy-handed charges is because a certain group of people sitting in power wanted to get Diddy up out of here. The same way they got, I'm gonna drop the name, Ghislaine Maxwell, still locked up right now. He knows some stuff about some people, and I really do believe that, and I think he has some blackmail. And they probably didn't find it when they raided his house, when they raided his mansion. Remember how they took like just electronics and whatnot? I don't think they found what they were looking for. That's just my conspiracy theory brain working. Also, I do not think, actually no, I do think there's a slightly racial undertone to this whole thing, in the sense that the whole downfall of Diddy stuff didn't begin until the moment he went after Diageo, right? For their racist practices in promoting his alcohol. Diageo is the parent company of Ciroc, right? And also George Clooney's tequila brand. But they were pretty much hyping up George Clooney's tequila while not really doing much with Ciroc, even though Diddy was pretty much doing all of the marketing for Ciroc, and it was still very popular. And I still stand on that. I still stand on that. That's partially the reason that this whole thing went down. I'm not saying that Diddy doesn't deserve the convictions that he got, but damn, a part of me still gives that little suspicious side eye to the timing of it all, you know, like the Diageo lawsuit that Diddy won, by the way. Several months later, Cassie hits him with a lawsuit, and the hotel video comes out too. He basically settles and gives her 30 million the day after the news broke of the lawsuit, and then everything just started spiraling out of control after that. Like, the things people do for money, am I right? It's crazy. Anyways, that's all I really wanted to say about that, to be honest. Let's move on to something lighter, because yeah, that was kind of heavy. Has Jim Jones lost his goddamn mind?
What?
Like, this man is the world's oldest YN. Like, he really said pull up Nas's Billboard entries, then pull up mine. What are you really trying to say here, Jimmy? What are you really trying to say? Like, it should have literally been crickets after he said that, because he must have been saying that to be super hyperbolous, just to throw his name in there. Like, a quick search would literally show that Jim Jones, his last two albums, I'm not gonna lie, they were good projects. I actually enjoyed his last two albums. I'm not a Jim Jones hater. Like, I like his music, but they didn't even reach the top 100 of the Billboard, bro. Meanwhile, Nas's last 5 albums since 2020 have all charted at single or double digit positions on the charts. What? Come on, Jimmy. Come on. Now, it's not even a fair fight at this point, because, like, firstly, I have a very biased take here, because Nas is in my top 3 favorite rappers of all time. He might just be top 1. But even speaking objectively, right? Jimmy, you are not touching Nas at all, man. Come on, man. Like, when you hear freedom of jail, clips inserted, a baby being born at the same time a man is murdered, the beginning and end. As far as rap goes, it's only natural, I explain. Oh, man, yo, nah, I'm going in. Like, as soon as you hear that, everyone knows who you're talking about. Like, what's a really memorable Jim Jones line? Put my emotions aside, cause they can never take me alive. I'ma ride and don't cry, cause mama raised a hell of a thug. And if I'm standing in front of the judge, no, I'm being an asshole. Like, I'm being an asshole. Boo! Tomato.
You're nasty.
Oh no. Alright. But but I like Jimmy though. I like Jimmy. Like, he's just trying to get his name in there, you know. He's trying to the oldest YN. Like, what happened to, why did we start using the word YN? You know, we used to just call them thugs, guys. Now it's just become this racial term, YN. Like, that's crazy, guys. Anyways. Also, check out the new Clips album. Let God Sort 'Em Out. That album is fire. Real hip hop is back. Malice is showing us all that a 50-plus-year-old rapper can still got it. Still got it, yo. He still got it. That Mike Tyson blow to your face. Golly. All right. Now. Now we gotta talk about Drake again, man. Oh man, I really hate that I come off sounding like I hate this guy sometimes, but I really don't. Like, I don't. I'm just truly a fan of the culture, and although I've been saying it for years, from the rooftops I've been shouting it, amongst my friends even, like, I really don't think Drake is part of the culture. He's just a pop artist that raps and sings very, very well. He's very good at it. Like, he's very, very good at it. But it really feels like lately this guy has kind of begun to start unraveling. Like, ever since he started the lawsuit, like, even his His music hasn't been hitting the same. Personally, I enjoyed the album he did with Party Next Door. Some Sexy Songs for You. However, looking at some of the songs' names, again, I'm gonna throw on my conspiracy theory hat again. You kind of see a little bit of a pattern, like just. I'm sorry, like again, I'm going down the rabbit hole, but like just follow me down this rabbit hole for a sec, okay? On Some Sexy Songs for You, right? He has a couple of songs with interesting names on them that they kind of stand out to me, right? For example, Die Trying, great song by the way. Give Me a Hug, also a great song. Somebody Loves Me, When He's Gone, right? And now with this new Iceman rollout that he's doing, he's got that What Did I Miss song. And all of these songs titles, they kind of sound like cries for help. Like you just take them individually. Yo, I'ma die trying if you don't give me a hug, cause somebody loves me and you're gonna miss me when he's gone. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, he comes back with the track, What Did I Miss? Right? Cause like it ended with When He's Gone, right? But what did I miss? Even though he wasn't actually gone at all, any point. But yeah, I think all of these song titles are kind of cries for help to me. Like ever since Kendrick said, you run to Atlanta when you need a check balance, Drake hasn't been fucking with American artists like that since. So instead, the man decides to run over to the UK and try to get some hugs some hugs over there. Like maybe the UK will give him some hugs. Skepta did. I mean, like, why doesn't he do that here in Canada though? Like, I feel like Toronto is the one place that rides for Drake the most, to the point, like, I'm talking fan base, to the point where they'll shit on anybody else who talks smack about Drake because, oh, Drake is our only pathway for America to take us serious, which is not true. Like hip-hop has been, guys, Toronto hip-hop has been around for before Drake, and it's Americans have known about us from time. Like it's not as deep as y'all make it appear, man. Anyways, back to the UK thing, right? He went to the UK and made some pot stirring commentary. Like he's literally stirring the pot. He brought Skepta on stage, right? And to big up the artist that he brought up on stage, he decided to shade the entire US. Actually, no, he decided to shade the entirety of hip hop culture, right? Because he went and said, UK has the best lyricists in the world. Drake should change his name to Pander, because like the way he be pandering to everyone and everything, like, man, can you stand on your own too? Like the UK absolutely has some amazing lyricists. Like I remember back in like 2008, I was like heavy into UK rappers, like I loved grime. I was a huge fan of Jest. I fucked with Kleshnikov. There was so many. Like it was dope. They had some great lyrics too. Like they were actually lyrical. Jest is actually very lyrical. But they ain't no Black Thought, dog. They ain't no Q-Tip. They ain't Nas. Like, man, it's just different. It's just different, guys. It's different. But that's been Drake's whole thing since his inception, right? He'll ingratiate himself to a group or some artists, and then behind the scenes pull some suspicious maneuvers, like taking that artist's unique style and tying it to himself. Big Sean is a big example for me. Or claiming that people always show him fake love. Bro, how you gonna go around calling all these people your brother, but then you go behind their backs and try to smash their women? Like, how you gonna say that you've never been a snake? As I said in previous episodes, man, that's one thing that's universally disliked by men in general, is dirty macking your friends' women. Like, come on. How come you never explained why you fucked Lil Wayne's girl when he went to jail? Or why you took Rick Ross's girl to the islands after they broke up, even though you had just like finished doing a track with Rick Ross? Yo, let me stop, bro. Cause like, I say all that to say, stop it, Drake. You're trying to sow division within the culture, just like a certain group of individuals in power that have been trying to divide black people for a long time. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying.
What?
Last and most certainly not least, I couldn't end this without a super special rest in eternal peace message for Ozzy Osbourne and Malcolm Jamal Warner, aka Theo from The Cosby Show. Theo's death really hit hard, man. Like, you don't really realize the impact that certain characters had on your childhood until the people that played those roles, like, they're suddenly no longer around. Like, man, it always felt like Theo was like that, the brother that we all wish we had, you know, like having the camaraderie, the dynamic that he had with his siblings, you know. That's I always wish I had that same dynamic that Theo had with his siblings. But I guess because the age gap between me and my siblings was kind of significant, it never really got to that. But maybe I'm just making excuses. I don't know. But yeah, shout out to the Huxtables, man. Like, and it's so much sadder because it wasn't even supposed to go down that way. Like, the man was only 54 years old and he passed away in Costa Rica from an accidental drowning. Like, he got caught up in a very strong current, and even the surfers and lifeguards, they tried their absolute best, but unfortunately it seems like it was just his time to go, man. We have to make sure, like, always, even on vacation, do not underestimate the power of the ocean. Like, I will always say that. Doesn't matter if you think you're a strong swimmer or not, there's always a current that's stronger than you can swim. So, damn, it's really unfortunate, man. That's crazy. And things like this, like, it kind of makes me start thinking about, damn, yo, how are we gonna feel when Will Smith passes on, right? The Fresh Prince was such a huge part of so many of us kids who grew up in the 90s childhoods, right? Like, same with Martin. Like, life can really come at you fast, and it can be taken away just as quickly. Like, and what can I say about the absolute icon, the legendary Prince of Darkness himself? Like, if growing up, I wasn't really into heavy metal music like that, but this man, Ozzy Osbourne, man, like, even though he freaking bit the head off of a live bat during a concert, like, that was crazy. He kind of showed me that even heavy metalheads can make some amazing ballads. I've always been heavy on ballads. Like, I love ballads, and Black Sabbath had some really great ones. Like, what was it? Like, She's Gone, Planet Caravan, Solitude, Revelation, Mother Earth, or my personal favorite, Goodbye to Romance. Man, what a time to be alive, right? Damn. Anyways, I think that's all for today, y'all. Until next time, salute to the outro. Peace.